Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Darkest Dungeon 2 dev stream. My name's Michaela. I'm the communications director here at Red Hook Studios. Sitting with me is Chris Barassa, our co-founder and creative director. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
It's always great to have you here on the couch. We have an exciting stream for you today. We're going to be playing through our latest release. We're going to be taking some questions. We're going to be showing some new stuff. And we're doing this because it's Darkest Dungeon 2's anniversary week.
It is 2 years since
we
released it.
Yeah, 1.0 came out May 8th, 2023. Super exciting. It's been an awesome 2 years. And the past year, in particular, has been pretty busy.
I feel like you have talking points
I have some talking points. If we could just pan over to camera 2 for Chris's reaction shot.
Yeah, we should. I think start by thanking the team. Everybody worked really, really hard on this game, and in particular, I have a lot of fond memories of the kind of the 6-week push before we launched. Everybody was really dialed in. It was a lot of hard work, and we rested everybody afterwards. If Kotaku is listening to this, we're very ethical in our treatment. But everybody worked really hard, came together, and I think delivered a great game. And it's not easy just to get a game over the finish line at all.
No.
Much less get a game over the finish line, have a good launch, support it for 2 years.
Yep.
So the team has a lot to be proud of, and we want to thank them, and obviously, thank you guys for being part of the community and playing the game.
Yeah, and it's been a busy year since last May. We've actually introduced quite a few things to the game. I have a fancy infographic that our lovely graphic artist Tom made. Tom, I don't know if you're watching this, but
thanks, Tom. Cheers, Tom.
Cheers, Tom. Oh, also, cheers to 2 years.
Cheers to 2 years. This is better wine than
last time. We got good wine this time. It came in a really weird-looking bottle.
It's French.
It's French. I can't pronounce the label, but Chris can.
La Fiole Réservée.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. So we thought it'd be cool to look back at kind of some of the things we've done. Development takes a long time, especially when you got to do testing, community feedback.
Yep.
Bug fixing, all of that. There's a whole back end to the process that I think a lot of people overlook. It's not just the creation of the assets, the design of the thing. Once it's all kind of stood up and working, content teams tend to move on, and that's really where production, loc, QA, the sort of back end mechanical workings of a studio kind of take over to help push it over the finish line. So. It was a lot. We've done a lot.
Yeah, we've done a lot. For those reading along here, we had console launch summer of last year, put it out on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch. Shortly after that, I believe in August, we released Dark Side of the Mountain on PC, which introduced modding to the game, which was awesome. We also did some hero reworks there. Man-at-Arms and Jester had another look, and we did some changes to Vestal as well. And then... the team was heads down for a while working on Kingdoms for the majority of last year, really. And we released the Kingdoms game mode and the first module, Hunger of the Beast Clan.
Have we not done a stream of... we did
one.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
It was bad wine.
It was bad wine. It just wiped it away.
Yeah.
Gotta forget we drank that. We released Hunger of the Beast Clan at the end of January, and alongside that, we put out a DLC as well, Inhuman Bondage, which introduced the Abomination. We made a new mini region, the Catacombs. It's full of slime. Everyone loves it.
Yeah,
slimes, not
the
scary
slime
at
was
all.
really cool because we had hired a graphics programmer, and this was their first sort of pure graphics feature after doing a ton of optimization work. So the jiggling slime is courtesy of you, Dan.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible work. So much
jiggle.
The jiggle physics are fantastic.
The amount of research that was done.
Yes. A lot of Jello mold videos.
Her algorithm is a mess.
Yeah, it's just ruined. And then after Inhuman Bondage, we actually came up with a pretty quick update after that, Secrets of the Coven.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be playing a little bit of today. So that released on PC and Mac in mid-April, April 14th to be exact. It's the second Kingdoms module. You have like a whole new enemy faction there, another quest. And we also introduced some community requested features for that. So when the First Kingdoms module came out, we collected your feedback, saw what people were looking for, and added in kind of the top requests, essentially, into this build here. This build actually was released on PlayStation this week, which is really cool. So that came out on Wednesday. So if you play on PlayStation, updates there for you. You can start enjoying it now. Xbox, Nintendo Switch, it's going to be coming by the end of this month. You should get Secrets of the Coven.
And I do remember our last stream because I said it then and it probably bears repeating, but the certification process is longer on some platforms.
It is.
And as are the kind of Q&A requirements. So in no way are our releases staggered based on preference.
No, this is not a favorite child situation. It's just some platforms just take longer, and we're only there's only so many people here, so we're just doing our best to move through these updates as quickly as we can.
Yeah, we sure are. Well said.
Thank you. Okie dokie. Do we want to? Oh, I know what we want to talk about now. So like I said, it is our anniversary week, and we did have a couple other announcements this week. For those of you who hadn't heard, I figured I'd take you through them really quickly right now, on this couch. So we actually announced a new physical edition of the game. It is called the Anniversary Edition. There it is. I'm going to delete us so you can see this sick deck of cards. Check that out. So this is for pre-order now. It's going to be delivering Q4 of 2025. Like I said, it's a physical edition. It's available for PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch only. It comes with the 3 as-of-release DLCs. So that's the Binding Blade, Inhuman Bondage, and our Infernal Supporter Pack, which came out last month as well. You'll get 2 soundtrack codes. That's for the base game and Kingdoms. You get a Papercraft Stagecoach, a diorama, a steelbook, and the playing cards, which are really cool. So there's going to be like heroes on the face cards. Are they called face cards? They're face cards. I don't play cards. I don't play card games. But that is what they're called.
It's kind of funny, actually, that we're doing cards now because so much of, Darkest Dungeon was built on, Tyler and I's love of poker.
Oh,
so yeah, it's kind of funny that it only took 12 years or whatever.
Only took 12 years. There they are.
To get a deck of friggin' cards.
Yes. Well, they look epic. Yes, of course. Dismas is king.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important that everybody in the community remembers that the Highwayman is the best character in Darkest Dungeon, should be the most powerful, and if you find that he's not, please submit a bug report.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge, huge problem that I'll look into personally.
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
And so this edition, like I said, it's pre-order available right now. I believe it's pre-order only through Amazon.com at this point. If you live in Europe, we're trying to get availability there as well, and we'll have an update on that as soon as we're able. And we also had a cool merch drop yesterday. Whoa! This is on the Yeti. That's our official Darkest Dungeon store. We have a lot of cool stuff there. Pins, shirts, a flagellant body pillow that is wildly popular.
Which was, we'll never do another body pillow.
We're never doing another body pillow.
But
it had to be him.
Michaela humbly and kind of sheepishly brought that to me as do you think maybe, I know we shouldn't, but I really want, but we can't, but we should, but we can't. And, I thought it was hilarious.
I was like, is this going to fly at all? Or is he going to be like, get out?
It was just grotesque enough to warrant doing once.
Yeah. I just love the double-sided nature of him. He's, he's meaty on one side and just a
he's
skeletal
the perfect man.
He's the perfect man.
You can fix him.
You can fix him. It's possible. You hear that, women? It's possible.
Yeah,
all right,
truly.
carrying on. So we had a new merch drop, and we got a cool new shirt. We got a Darkest Dungeon 2 ball cap. A lot of people, I've had some people ask what that is. It's a Secrets of the Coven poster. So you can have a really cool poster of our key art. And we have a double-sided coin there if you want to live out all your Harvey Dent fantasies. We got a virtue halo and kind of the Iron Crown stress symbol. So good, bad, flip a coin, have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what Two-Face is about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone. Everyone knows. Okay, and that's our cool merch. That's our spiel for all the awesome anniversary stuff that's happening this week. So yeah, let's get into some gameplay.
You want to show some witches?
Do I want to show some witches? I do
Yeah.
want to show some
Okay.
witches. So I'm going to start us with just a little stream here. We're going to go on over. Hang on, let me just make this a little small so we can read your questions. So if you have any questions about what you're seeing, you have any questions about like the update, what's coming up, throw them in the chat. Chris will answer them as
I'll
I'm
try and
playing here.
track it, yeah.
He'll try and keep track of them. And
We wanted to show off like
Yeah.
the witches. We can talk a little bit about some of the development of that. Which in large part, it was really exciting to do the second module because it's a lot different from the first one.
Yeah.
I'm sure many of you guys who are, I mean, if you're watching this stream for this game, you probably have played it somewhat
Oh.
recently. So it was neat to try to experiment with the quest kind of archetype that we built out of the first module and see how different we could make it. And I think the design team did a great job figuring out some interesting angles. I really like the glimmer, revealing the witches, and some new mechanics in there as well. So it was a lot of fun to make.
yeah, absolutely. All right, got last stand. One of the things that we added that was a request is in the custom difficulties here, you can now change a couple more things. So in starting skills, we've added a true random here for starting skills if you really want to roll the dice. That can include, like, I think beast-only skills if you have the abomination on your team. It's a real crapshoot, so you can have some fun with that.
I gotta read these.
Sorry, go for it, Chris. And then,
Sorry.
yeah, go for it.
Aura Murex, why you decided to include specifically the Bloodsuckers as the third group of enemies instead of other stuff? Because they're really cool, and I really like the Bloodsuckers, and nothing will ever top Crimson Court in terms of, like, such a large-scale integrated DLC, but this is our way of kind of honoring that enemy faction. They're really cool. You should check it out for free when
For
it comes
free?
out.
Yeah.
And no, Shuffle, I didn't lie to you about the Grave Robber plush.
No, we're aware. She's
Yeah.
on the list.
Just cool it.
Just hang on. Okay, so I'm just going to go for good old normal difficulty. Let's embark. All right, pick our team. So one of the fun features we added here is you can now choose the heroes that are going to be deployed throughout your kingdom. Previously, like, you could only select the 4 party members you wanted, and then it would be sort of like a random assortment of people who would show up. Now you just shift click, you can pick who you want to show up throughout your kingdom. So you're limited to 12 heroes, at least in, like, the normal difficulty. I think customization, I think we allow you to bring up to 15 in custom. But the regular difficulties, you do need to choose who you want.
Uncobbed Corn had a question, which is an amazing username, but I forget it. Can you scroll back up?
Oh, can I scroll back up? Yeah. Let me just, Uncobbed Corn, where are you?
Keep going. It's like highlighted.
Oh, wait,
There it
is that
There
him?
it is. How often do you guys check fan art? I check fan art all the time. I think fan art is one of the greatest gifts of my entire working career.
Yeah.
I was actually talking with our associate art director over lunch about this today, that seeing how people spend their personal time and their creative energy in the space that we've created is like the ultimate honor. So I look on Reddit end to end every single day. I'm aware of absolutely every Reddit post, good and bad. I look on social media, Instagram, whatever. Anytime I see fan art, I'm always like trying to upvote it or I save it, just because.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Thank you.
Absolutely. I just realized I think the game's muted, so let's just actually put some music in there. That
No
might be
Dead
nice.
by Daylight collaborations are planned. That's not to say that that couldn't happen at some point, but what I will say, and we've been clear about this to our partners. Darkest Dungeon is kind of like an export-only industry.
Yeah.
We don't want to include kind of fourth wall breaking nods or call-outs to kind of out-of-world characters or events within Darkest Dungeon, but we would, we're always keen to share our characters with other games or in other places. So.
Yep. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick second to show another new feature. So we actually moved cosmetics to the hero sheet. That means you can now change your hero's look at both the crossroads and the inn. And while I'm in here, I wanted to show something pretty cool. So as I mentioned, we released another DLC called the Infernal Supporter Pack. So that is essentially a pack that contains a bunch of hero skins. Like there's one for every hero. It comes with these really cool ink fire effects. It comes with a weapon kit as well. And yeah, supporter kit's really just there if you like what we're doing, you want to help support the free updates we've been putting out, like Kingdoms. That's there for you as an option. And yeah, you get some nice hero palettes, a weapon kit, and also 4 different stagecoach skins.
Yeah.
Yeah, each themed after like a different enemy faction. So there's one for the witches, there's one for the beastmen. We have a Crimson Courtier carriage and also a slimy one, covered in slime.
With Jiggle.
With Jiggle physics.
It was the first time we've ever done some kind of a supporters pack thing, but we felt like it was appropriate just given that all 3 Kingdom modules are free content that, you know, we're just developing kind of out of a love of the game to increase its breadth and its scope and make sure that the value proposition of DD2 is extremely strong. So we felt like it was a good chance to just experiment with this. So yeah, if you like the really cool, edgy, awesome skins, you can check them out.
So edgy. We're just in the Valley right now, which I love what we've done with the Valley for our Kingdoms releases. We've kind of put like set dressing depending on the enemy faction you're going to be fighting. So the Valley is looking pretty witchy right about now.
Solitary Bird 3134 wants me to talk about the Duelist's inception and creation.
Ooh. Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, I don't have
You don't-
anything.
you're not
I don't have anything to
forced.
hide.
to answer every question.
Well, I want to try and answer as many questions as possible.
For sure.
What was the Duelist all about? We wanted a complicated hero. We wanted a stance-based complicated hero. The designer who does this kind of work, I would hazard to say, has a strong bias for extreme complexity in a good way, and we wanted to like see what was possible and push kind of the envelope. We knew that Crusader was going to be kind of, you know, competent, versatile, run-of-the-mill, but like there's a reason he's a starting hero in DD1. He's kind of his bread and butter. You see what you get, or you get what you see, or whatever that is. Duelist, we want it to be a little bit more technical. You know, require some preparation, require some forethought, and treat her kind of an advanced hero. I'd sort of put her in the same category as like Jester, maybe Occultist, kind of one of the flagellant, like one of the kind of wild card heroes. So that was like her kind of mechanical identity. Thematically, I felt like I saw a fencing jacket that I really liked online, so
You were like, there
I
it
took
is.
that.
The next character.
But like, I wanted a merciless, like a heartless woman. I thought that was just like a really neat idea. The pursuit of perfection by sacrificing absolutely everything, which is kind of a theme. You know, maybe the occultist like kind of kills the best parts of himself to like make room for supernatural power, and I guess the Duelist kind of does the same thing by killing her mentor / lover or whatever. But the idea that we have another hero that is kind of a little bit on the nastier side or a little bit less sympathetic, I felt like was really good, because I wanted to lean in on the tragedy for the Crusader, how war changes a man, and you know, you're kind of like, oh, but his family. But with the Duelist, you're kind of like, whoa, but her family, you know? And yeah, I thought like that approach, the fencing being a sport, the mastery, the performance, all of that was a great fit.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my ramble on that.
It's a good ramble.
But you can see mushrooms
Look, there
here.
was
You can't go backwards.
I just don't. Why not? New feature. And we're coming up to a burning inn. It's under siege.
Will we include, now that Bloodsuckers are in, will we include more enemies to previous groups for bigger variety? At this point, we're kind of fine with the scope of each of the factions. You can see some witches here on screen now. These were really fun to design. I have to say, actually, of all of the faction groups, the witches were kind of the most fun, I think, for me. Just because they're so different and weird compared to everything else we've done for Kingdoms.
Yep. I like them.
But there's a good variety. And again, like I don't want to, play the heartstrings, but, like, it's not costless to develop. So we have to strike a balance between, how much work and time and effort and kind of manpower we can put into a release, especially given that it's free. So we sort of try to push a little bit beyond and over deliver. But we also are, we're like a business, right? So we're cash flow constrained, like any operation. That's why the stream's going to end early.
It's ending early?
We're out of cash. We gotta.
Oh my god!
Shut it down.
We
The
gotta
internet
go.
goes off at 3:30. So.
Yeah. We can see some of the cool effects here with the like the Inkfire effects we've added to the weapon kits.
Yep.
The Infernal Supporter here.
What was really neat about this, like, I'm just trying to provide, like, development color commentary. What was really cool about this is we're like, okay, well, I guess we could do supporter pack. We could do skins. We'll theme them all like cultists. That'll be really neat. And then one of our artists, Aaron, worked really, really hard to kind of go outside of his typical work sphere and do a lot of, like, concept art and design work for these weapons. And then I worked with him, did a pass on him. And we were like, yeah, I mean, everything's looking pretty good. The character team did a great job of getting them all built on time, which was, not an insignificant amount of work. And then our VFX artist, Tom, was like, I can make these better. I can change all the antic VFX to give them that electrical kind of, like, cultist quality. And he pushed hard and got that done on time. And I think just elevated the entire, like, value of the whole pack. So it was really cool to just watch everybody chip in their own way.
One last crush shot to do it.
Breakman's asking about glimpses of the progress of Hero Shrine skins, and I guess we don't have anything to say about that.
Not
this minute.
Very minute.
Yeah.
No. Not this very minute.
Great job, though.
Thank you. Doing better than last time.
You are. It was abysmal last time.
It was not good.
My favorite in-name is the Tranquil Frog.
Oh. All right. So just like with Hunger of the Beast Clan, you have another quest here. Basically, we're trying to hunt down these secretive witches before their malicious influence spreads throughout your kingdom. So we got an academic's key ring that says to me, we're going to have to find an academic study.
Yep. So the entire, like, the Beastmen theme is kind of all about, like, you're always behind. They've always just been there. They've always killed a bunch of people and moved on. And you're kind of playing, like, ambulance a little bit. The goal with this one is more like an actual witch hunt. So they're hiding. It's all secretive. There's a lot of, like, illusion type stuff. There's illusions in the store, illusions in combat. And Eric, our gameplay designer on this, did a really great job of taking those values and turning them into mechanics that you actually play with. And he's doing the same thing on the next one. So it's great.
Yeah. All right. Here we got a siege.
What is the inspiration behind the Bagman? I love the Bagman.
Oh, he's so great.
I want a spin-off game about the Bagman. He just squeezing bodies.
Yep, just hanging out. Why is he still carrying that thing around? Who knows?
Who knows?
It's his job. It's his job.
The inspiration behind the Bagman was I was just doing a bunch of sketches, and I thought the idea of him, like, squelching, and, like, I did a drawing of, like, a kind of a fat guy, like, with his legs all splayed back, like, launching goop, and I'm like, this is incredible.
It's so good.
And I kind of took a moment to reflect on my own genius, and then I finished the concept art.
That's just what you do?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing most of the day? Just reflecting on your own genius?
From about 10 to 6
Okay.
every day.
Yeah, that's that, like, misty-eyed look on your face when I walk by. I'm like,
Yeah.
there he is, reflecting.
And I like to do that from home.
Okay,
So.
yeah. Got it. So something I'd like to point out, one thing we did add based on community feedback was in storage. So now every inn has some space for you to store some items. So like if you wanted to leave something behind for another hero that you know is eventually going to be at that inn, you can do that. The danger of that, of course, is that if that inn is ever under siege and it burns down, like you don't save it, those items are gone. They've burned with the inn. But yeah, we do have inn storage, so that's cool.
Yeah, that was something that a lot of you guys were asking for after the first Kingdoms release, so it was really cool to go back and figure out how to do it in the UI.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what am I doing? Let's just like embark, or do we? Yeah, we can play a little more, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Alpha Albatross, was there ever a 3 or 4 size slime? There was a 4 slot sized slime boss that I had sketched.
A 4 slot slime boss?
Yeah, like it was just
a big square.
But it was basically like, I looked at it and I'm like, it's cool, but it really just is two slot slimes. It's the same thing, and we didn't have any more scope to do like a special mechanic or something, which, you know, if you play our games, you know that when it comes to mini bosses or bosses, we always try to give them like a little bit of a hook or a special kind of condition or mechanic that's kind of belongs to that fight. And knowing we couldn't do that, it just felt like all I had done is taken two slot slimes and put them together. Then I reflected on my own genius and realized that it wasn't so genius.
Not so genius this time around.
That's what the reflection is for, though. It's part of the process.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're just chucking things out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Do we have some questions have flown past? I'm sorry, I'm not able to catch the names as quickly, but do we have plans for confessions? Do we have plans for more heroes? What are we thinking?
Do we have plans?
Yeah, I'm putting you directly on the spot.
Oh my god. Don't ask me this. We got plans for Kingdoms 3. We got plans. Well, we have a pretty cool update coming out this summer that we'll talk more about.
Yeah.
Shortly.
I was trying to tee you up for that.
Thank you. Yeah. I was like scraping my brain. I don't reflect on my genius often enough, so
That's
it's
the problem.
hard for me to like pull this just out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have plans for some cool stuff.
Don't you reflect on work hours, though.
Oh.
You.
That only unpaid time.
Yes,
Only
please.
unpaid
Yeah.
reflection. Okay, well, let's fight some fish. Yeah, let's do that. They appear fragile. Let's get them. Ugh, I don't like these little babies. There's a lot of small, creepy, childlike
Upon
creatures
reflection,
in
I
the
realized
game.
I did put a fair number of babies in this game.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Having kids is a lot of work.
Yeah,
And sometimes you need to
well,
express that.
I shall simply poison this child. And hopefully it'll not grow up into a horrifying monster. Ugh. I really like the Shroud enemies. Like, I think they're so grotesque, but, like, really cool.
My favorite is the fishmonger lady who sits there
Oh,
and
yeah.
like, chops fish and throws knives.
Yeah, she's great. Just this guy being controlled by this, like, horrible octopus.
I have a question about the Man-at-Arms comic, Mr. Bubbles. Although, oh shoot, it's scrolling past.
Oh, no.
I missed the question.
Oh, no. Do you want me to go back?
Yeah, if you don't
I can
mind.
go back. I can
Sorry.
go back. It's okay. Oh. Oh, no. Where's my mouse? There it is. Mr. Bubbles. Where is he? Is he over here?
Sorry, in the end of the comic, he dies. No. Although beating the final mountain boss, you see the end cutscene, it shows him alive. Does that mean he survived? No, he didn't die. He just, he did a terrible job leading people in a war and got them all killed and then kind of...
Had a bit of a minty bee.
Yeah, limped
Yeah.
away and went through a hard time and realized that, he's kind of no better than anybody else.
That's right. Will this kill it too? Yep. That'll be fine. That'll do.
My son claims credit for the Leviathan boss.
Does he?
He insists that he said one day you should have a thing, and I'm like, I don't know if that's how it happened, but
Well, let him take the credit.
I've let him take it.
Let him take the credit. Why not? What harm does it do?
Why are the cabin boys called that? Because that's what you call the lowest rank on a ship.
Ah. Ooh.
Since you're talking about the supporter pack, if any new heroes were to get added, would the supporter pack get updated to include cosmetics for that new hero? So that is a great question. And it's also a huge trap, because if I say yes and we don't do it, then I'm a liar. And if I say no, I'm a disappointment.
What do you want to be?
It's tough. It's a little bit like facing my own failure. I think that there would be a strong case to be made to update the supporter pack to account for that hypothetical new hero.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the ethical thing to do.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll co-sign
Okay.
this.
And we'll move
idea.
on. And we'll move on.
Oh, they're almost done. Boom.
Calibus24, I think it's unlikely that we'll ever update the end screen for Confessions to have the heroes from the DLCs, because if you beat the game and you don't have the DLCs, you're like, who the hell are these guys?
Who's this guy?
Why are they here?
Yeah.
It's just kind of one of those things.
Tragic.
Mr. Bubbles will not let this go about the Man-at-Arms dying. I don't think he gets stabbed in the chest. Trudy drew that comic like 6 years ago. I don't think he gets stabbed in the chest. He gets blown up. But we changed a little bit from like the original one-page comics we kind of used as a jumping-off point to retell their origin stories more comprehensively in Darkest Dungeon 2.
Yeah.
What's the lore behind the bounty hunter?
What's his lore? He's a man of mystery.
Okay, so did you like Book of Boba Fett?
Again.
I can't say it enough. Sometimes not knowing is better than knowing too much. And the bounty hunter, the same way like the antiquarian kind of represents like a fallen hero, the bounty hunter, his story is the absence of a story. It's whatever it exists in your imagination, in your mind. We might do little snippets and droplets here and there, but I really have no appetite to describe a definitive history for that character, precisely because that's what makes him interesting and special. Kind of like, the Flagellan has got his whole thing, and each character is like a 5-part little sort of tragedy or horror story. The idea that he exists outside of all that is kind of part of his appeal to me. So in his origin comic, we suggest a few things, but it's also just a single moment in time and doesn't have like an implication for his character. And I really, really like that, and I would be hard pressed to change stance on that. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you think so.
So cool.
Yeah. Unlike Book of Boba Fett.
I never watched it. So
I'll say it. I'll say it again and again and again.
He doesn't like that show.
It's too much. The
Yeah.
veneers,
Veneers?
his teeth are so white.
Oh, no.
And he won't stop taking the helmet off.
I don't like veneers.
It's so frustrating. Just leave the helmet on. The only reason anyone likes Boba Fett is because of the helmet and
Yeah,
the
the helmet's
jetpack, like the
very
whole
cool.
the kit, right?
Very cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, I made it to an academics study, and look what I got. I'm holding a Coven item. I got a little Coven symbol here. Let's see what happens. We're going to gird our loins.
Okay.
The hags
It's
slink
inappropriate.
in the shadows.
Let's
We're
do
girding all items.
There they are.
There they are!
So what's really cool about the witches is that sometimes they will spawn with a cauldron, and they all have a skill that interacts with the cauldron. This is a little bit of a nod to the hag boss in DD1, but every witch can use it, and they get different effects based on how they, incant on the cauldron. And I think, James or Care Level Zero's in chat, and he did a great job of giving them all their own kind of identity and hook as they interact with it. So.
Blind? Noxious? Let's just chip away at her health. She is big and scary. Oh, that didn't do anything.
Oh my God, there's a lot of questions, which is great.
Oh my God.
Will the bounty hunter get other color palettes? Potentially.
Potentially. We didn't mention it, but the bounty hunter, yeah, he does have one in the Infernal Supporter Pack.
Of course, because that's what's ethical.
It's what's ethical.
And that's so important.
What's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has no other palettes except for that one.
Currently, yeah.
Currently.
You got to scroll back, though, because
I got to scroll
I'm
back, though.
sorry.
Hang on. Let me just go up. Oh my God.
No, it was that little pack there. There you go.
This.
Bounty Hunter. I would like to ask when the Musketeer is coming to DD2. We have no plans to bring the Musketeer to DD2 at this time.
Why
I'm
is,
sorry.
Why is Big B German?
Just to change it up. Duelist was French.
Yeah.
Grave Robber I think is kind of highbrow English. I like to think the Man-at-Arms is a little bit Scottish, light Scottish. So, it's all in that space, Europe. What mechanic would you like a new hero to have? I mean, I guess the follow-on for what new mechanic would be like, what if they had a pet, a dog, perhaps? We're not advancing on that front, but the pet mechanic is always really, really cool. Yeah, Hellion is a picked.
I'm gonna do this.
No, we did not just tease the Houndmaster. I'm just saying it's a cool mechanic.
Oh, because you... Whoa, careful, Chris.
I need to reflect on this.
Chris needs reflection time.
Talking about Bounty Hunter, does the fact that you're hiring him in the Confessions game mode cost candles? Physical representation of hope. It's more, okay, so I'm all for allegory. But really, we just had to make sure that employing the Bounty Hunter as an overpowered character in Confessions cost you something. So we used the currency that is, essentially most valuable to your profile progress. That was the rationale there. I think the Bounty Hunter is we try to describe him as extremely professional and just in it for, the job.
Mm-hmm. Can I? Oh man, that cauldron's way back there. Get over here, cauldron. Don't you? Oh. Well, that happens if you leave the cauldron last.
Yep,
so.
It explodes.
Yeah. Kind of figured that might happen.
Classic
Darkest Dungeon. All right, what do we have now? Witchfinder map, stagecoach items. I'm going to equip this at the next inn. Witch hunters of old would stash their supplies at camps deep in the countryside. Okay, cool. Well, let's go.
Should we take a look
probably,
at some of this other stuff?
Yeah, let's just get to the inn and then because I just like riding up to inns. I don't know.
Yeah.
We can stop.
Right on up to the inn.
Right on up.
Who animated the cauldron explosion? That'd be Tom. Tom, Yusuf worked together on animation and VFX.
Yeah.
Great.
They're awesome.
Yep.
Woo. We made it. Cool.
I'm a big fan of wounds. That was something Tyler felt was really necessary in Kingdoms to make sure that hero cycling was important and relevant, and I really love the way he solved that. It's not revolutionary, but I think it works really, really well, and it's kind of cool to slowly wear your heroes down.
Yeah. I'm going to mute the game so it's not constantly
am I
playing
remembering
on us.
things wrong, or was there a Darkest Dungeon custom game back on Warcraft 3? No. We didn't do it.
Wasn't us.
So yeah, talk about this next update. Let's talk about our plans going
We have
ahead.
plans, yeah. So yeah, we're going to take the last little bit of the stream to talk about what we have coming. So as we mentioned, we have Kingdoms Module 3 coming up. We'll be showing a little bit about that in a bit. But before then, we actually do have another update planned. And we're going to be doing this one a little different. We're going to be inviting a lot more community feedback as we're going. So we have affectionately named this, as of today, the Steadfast Stewards Update.
But Michaela,
What?
won't involving the community like that expose us?
We love the community. we need the ideas. No, we just thought that it would be really great to work alongside everyone and put out basically like a quality of lifestyle update. So the idea with this is we're going to be tackling some systems that I guess need some love, essentially. So involved in this update, we're going to be focusing on the remaining hero reworks. We're going to be looking at the academics view, updating that. We're also going to take a look at tooltips and like language to ensure that it's consistent throughout the game. just basically feedback we've been receiving from the community for like the past couple years, essentially little improvements we can make here or there. Given the time, we'll also probably look at systems like ordainment, memories, things like that. So the game plan for this is, like I said, it's going to be a little different. So the plan is we are going to be likely starting at the very end of this month, releasing weekly updates to experimental and coming in hot, letting everyone test it, and then we're asking you to send us feedback on our Discord channel. So Discord server. I'm going to be making new channels specifically dedicated to this update. So we're going to have like channels for kind of every little system we're changing, just so everyone knows where to put their feedback. But essentially, it's weekly builds. The designers are going to be in the channels, reading through feedback, and yeah, we're just going to be making little tweaks along the way until we deem that it's ready. And the plan is to release it sometime during this summer. Just some caveats to start. This type of update is not going to be like, we're not building any new systems. We're not introducing any new enemies, new characters, things like that. It is like strictly like tuning.
It's like housekeeping.
It's housekeeping.
Because, we build new mechanics, and sometimes it's more expedient in the moment to kind of cobble them together based on existing stuff. That means maybe a tooltip looks really funky, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. We got to live with it. So this is just kind of our team looking at the totality of the existing feedback and then sort of trying to snipe some of these like high value things and work with you guys to share it regularly so you can kind of see the evolution of some of these things. But it's really just kind of about doing a big garage cleanup, making sure things are as legible, as clear, as spiky and interesting as possible. So it'll be design heavy.
Yes.
Probably some UI, but it won't be content at all in this patch.
Yes, exactly. And also, previously we have used our coming in hot and experimental channels. Usually we've used those builds. When we put a build there, we basically have it's essentially done, and we put it to soak test and let the community test it out to make sure we haven't missed any big bugs. This time around, the builds that are going in there are going to be like, I guess messier is the best way to put it, because they're in flux. We're going to be iterating as we go. So just expect to see things are not going to be as polished as you would be normally seeing our coming in hot builds.
And if you hate the sound of that, which I do, the good news is it is confined to that experimental branch.
Exactly.
So if you're just playing on the retail branch and you don't want to opt in with any kind of launch parameters or change it to the beta branch, your experience is going to be unchanged. But it allows us to really stress test some of these things, try some stuff, and then make sure that everything is in as good a shape as it can be before we bring it back over to retail.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's entirely opt-in. If you just want to wait until
I don't know why I'm telling you how it works.
No,
I'm telling them.
We're telling them together.
Michaela, here's the thing.
Listen. So if you don't want to opt in, you can just wait until the update's done and it's released to retail. But if you're really interested in helping us test, you want to send us your feedback, we're excited to hear it. So you can expect, like I said, we're planning on weekly builds starting at the end of May. I'm going to have a blog post up either late next week or early the week after that, kind of breaking this down a little more. Kind of what you can expect, essentially. But we're really excited about it. It's going to be super cool. And that's what you can expect before Kingdoms 3.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Quick question. Oramura asked about the farmstead enemies. Did we enjoy making them, and would we keep them the same or spice them up? It's kind of an interesting question. I just think the ability we have in terms of VFX and animation with GA2 would make them over the top cool. But we're not making them, so that can live here on this stream and in your imagination.
In your heart.
In your heart, yeah.
In your heart.
You can reflect on it from 10 to 6.
Can you email Chris your fan art? Sure.
I don't want to post my email address.
Oh, no.
So maybe we
can
roll
that back.
You
you can send it to our support channel.
Yeah, send it to our feedback email.
Oh, we have a Discord fan art channel
Discord
too.
fan art. Yep.
We'll see it there.
I would love to see it. It's not that. I just don't want to come out with my email.
Yeah.
I can come out with my social insurance number and my credit card.
Oh, yeah. Do you want those? Yeah. You're so open.
I have nothing to hide.
Wow. Okay, cool. So we got some cool art.
Yeah,
to
we're gonna
show
share a few
now.
things.
Yeah, let's look at some stuff. This was we're back to some merch now. But let's show you some stuff from Kingdoms 3. So we're going to start with some environment art.
Mm-hmm.
And let's look at this. Whoa, what's that? We got an Iggy stagecoach, which you can get in the Infernal Supporter Pack.
Available
Riding
on Steam.
up... What?
Available on Steam.
Available on Steam. Available on Steam, GOG, and Epic, and soon to be available on consoles as well.
Buy it for your friends.
Buy it for your friends. Buy it for yourself. Why not? Buy it for everybody. So you got a we're riding up on a little egg sac module, node.
Eggs. Yeah,
Eggs. We're riding up on some eggs, and once you get to those eggs, you're gonna get into an eggy arena. This is like a work in progress.
You can see Trudy's note there.
Yeah,
She's
Trudy's
concerned
note.
about the lack of fog.
We need more fog. It's not enough.
Yeah. So the each what am I trying to say? Each faction in Kingdoms kind of has like a home base. So for the witches, it was the Tangle. The Beastmen, I think, was up in the mountain, and the Shroud is the kind of the home for the Crimson Court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's take a look at some of the enemies. So first up, we have the Esquire. He's having a little snack.
I mean, this screenshot is incorrect because that would never happen to the Highwayman.
It would never happen to the Highwayman.
But this is a dev build. It's early.
It's
work
a bug,
in progress.
really.
So that will be changed.
Yep. Yeah, I just think I'm obsessed with how these characters turned out. I think they look awesome. They're like I was telling Chris, I think they're simultaneously grotesque and like kind of funny.
But I think
Like
that's
in a
kind of
gr-
like
that's
been
what you
our
want.
design kind of like our character design.
Yeah.
You know, the character design kind of thread through all of it is dash of cute or like absurd, like 2%.
Yep,
And then
yep.
the rest is kind of just illustrated
Just
grotesquerie.
Absolutely grotesque.
Yeah.
We have the Banquet, blowing up. The Highwayman's really taken a lot of hits in these images.
Again, wildly incorrect.
Wildly incorrect imagery here. But yeah, another enemy looking super gross. If you got that phobia of holes, maybe don't look at this image. I can't remember what it's called.
Tryptophobia or
Starts
something?
with a T. That might be it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get it, and then I went down the hole, and I'm like, the hole? Literally, the whole hole.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's creeping people out about this? And I found some unsettling
So
images.
I did the same thing. I was like, oh, if I do all these little holes, like all the way back in DD1, I'm like, oh, it looks kind of gross, and it's like layered skin, and the skin's pulling away and rotting off. I'm like, oh, this works really well. I can do it quickly.
Yeah.
Great. And then I realized, or I learned that it was a phobia.
Yeah.
So then I looked up the phobia, and then I looked up the stuff that people do in that community.
Yeah.
And there's like photorealistic edits of like a woman's arm that looks like a beehive, and I'm just like, that is
It's upsetting.
disgusting.
Yeah.
And I got that phobia a little
Yeah,
bit.
I did too. I didn't get it. I'm like, what do you mean? And I just kept clicking on images,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm giving it to myself. I don't like any of this.
So this guy actually hatches mosquitoes out of his disgusting lump.
Yeah. Gotta love that lump. Okay, who else do we have? We have the Sycophant, which I think is super gross, super gnarly. There he is. Just nasty.
Yeah, he's back from DD2.
Yeah. Yeah, he's having a good time riding this little corpse. And then last,
Don't rush him.
don't rush him.
Let it sink
soak.
in.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm getting just. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Yeah. We don't have unlimited stuff. So.
You told me we had to cut the stream short. The internet's about
guess,
to go.
yeah. We have like
no,
6
it's fine.
minutes.
We have time.
Okay, now go.
Now go? Now go. You don't have anything to say about this little freak?
No, it's cool to bring him back. And
Yeah?
nice to actually do the whole thing where the bug head wraps around the human head and like leeches off it. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. And like I said, one last bug. We have the Chevalier. There he is. Blasting. I think the Highwayman. Yeah, it is the Highwayman. He's crouched. Again, another just
So frustrating.
absolutely glaring.
I've been so clear with the team, and yet here we are.
Yeah.
Very upsetting.
Don't know who approved these screenshots.
It's embarrassing.
It's
It's a bad
really
look for us.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, that's pretty cool. We have
Yeah.
one last thing to show you. That isn't bugs.
Yeah. So I mean, we've seen enough of Dismas getting impossibly damaged by bugs, but it does give you just a quick preview of some of the enemies that are coming, and just like the way K2 with the Coven is mechanically very, very different from K1 with the Beast, K3 is another step in a different direction. So it should present a different challenge, different experience. And our hope is that, with 3 of these modules available, it's a fun time to change it up, try a different enemy type, lean in on different mechanics and themes, and there should be a lot of variety there. So
Yeah.
One of the things that we've been talking about for years has been the origin skins of the heroes, right?
Yep. Comes up all the time.
All the time.
Where are they?
Where are they? And the story of why they were just not in the game at launch is a long and sordid tale of technology and Unity builds and rigs and bugs and all sorts of things like that. But thank you to the incredible work that Yusuf, our animator, and Brooks, our technical art director, along with Galen, one of our engineers, and others that I'm forgetting. I feel bad when I start naming people because I'm never going to name them all. We're working through the process of getting those skins integrated into the game.
And we have a little sneak peek at some of them. So let's take you to the inn where everyone is just relaxing and having a great time.
It's fantastic.
There's
there's no bugs on this screen.
No bugs.
Unlike the Highwayman
visible
screens.
at all. Abomination here. He's just having a little stretch.
Yeah. Now, will the Flagellant's legs be that far apart in the final build? I can't say that they will.
Please say they will.
It's extremely aggressive.
It's obscene, and I love it. I'm like, there's so much thigh.
It's so manosphere.
Really
It's a little. It's
it
a
takes
little
that
heavy-handed.
pose from like, oh, he's dead to like, oh, he's
not dead.
Not dead. Yeah, it's a powerful pose.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Sure to be a fan favorite.
Absolutely.
We wanted to show that just because it's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's fun, but I mean, it looks awesome. Like the leper looks great. Man-at-Arms, they all look awesome. And I think it's going to be really cool.
They're getting a nice texture
Yes.
pass update. We're going to make sure that they're all up to snuff with the other models in the game. And they have all their animations being transferred over, and which is quite a laborious process, I must say. So it's not just as simple as running on the same rig, because some of them have extra, more dangly bits or extra pouches or things that all need to be kind of animated on top. So it's been a bit of a long road, but we're excited to get there. So
Yeah. Well, that's that. Yeah. Any final words before we close the stream?
Well, a quick question on the hero skins. Someone's asking, what made implementing them in the actual game different from having them in their fights at the altars?
Right.
That's a good question. They have all these different moves they have to do. So they're animated specifically for their story beats in the altars. They do only exactly what they need to do in those fights, and a lot of times their idle animations are meant to reinforce their kind of state of mind in that fight, either vulnerable or scared or whatever. They don't have things like Death's Door. They don't have a stable combat idol. They can't do any of the 11 skills. So it's things like that. It's a much bigger animation prospect.
Will the origin costumes be recolored? I think the origin skins are just
The origin
just
skins
that.
are the skins. Yeah, we're not gonna have like palettes for the origin skins.
Answered that bounty hunter one.
I've seen a couple questions on the board game, and quite frankly, like I think we touched on this last time.
Yeah.
Their business is not our business, and we're not dialed into the workings of that company. It's really unfortunate. I know that even recently there have been a lot of closures in that space. Been a lot of closures in the video game space as well. It's been a bit of a rough time post-COVID for industries like ours and for board games. So I'm not sure what's happening with Mythic. I'm not sure what state of solvency they're in. We're not tied into their financials or their business details. So we're kind of waiting for news the same as you might be.
Any chance of a DD2 art book?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we want to do. There's a lot of really cool art. And I don't say that as someone who did some of it. There's been a lot of like excellent art contributions to that game. So
Yeah.
it's a big project though to go back through. Like it's been like 6 years of DD2. It's been 6 years.
6 years.
It's been
6 great years.
It's been like 11 years of Darkest Dungeon for me. So we gotta go back.
Yeah.
Find all these images, pick the right ones, get someone to lay out the book. I want to do it. We will definitely get around to doing it, but it's not sort of top of mind at this exact point in the studio because we're still working on this game, you know? The art book is, at the size that we have, the art book is a bit of a retrospective kind of thing where we take a step back from the project and kind of look at it, somewhat objectively. Where we're still kind of in the thick of it on DD2.
Here's a Courtier question. Have you answered this? Am I?
What inspired you to go with mosquito insect theming instead of the traditional bats? Okay, that's a great question. Actually, I think I gave a talk on the Crimson Court with Trudy Castle, who had joined Red Hook as the first art hire back in the day for DD1 on Crimson Court. And you can check it out. I think it's on YouTube. You can look it up. But the very short version of it is I got really interested in the New York club kid scene.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I can't remember any of their names now. There's a bunch of documentaries about this. Mm-hmm. After Warhol died, the New York nightlife was disappearing.
Yeah.
And then Molly, was it? Some drug was really popular, and all these rich kids would go downtown New York and they'd party and rave, and it got crazier and crazier, and they all had access to tons of money, and so their drug use got insane. Then they got into ketamine, I think it was, and eventually, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this stuff on Twitch.
Why not?
Eventually, one of these guys who was like kind of the epicenter of this whole scene, this club kid scene, killed and chopped up his drug dealer.
Yeah, that's in Party Monster.
That's what it is, Party Monster, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard about this, and I watched that documentary, and there's been like 2 other movies about it.
Yeah.
And I just thought the idea of like unbridled excess consuming itself was fascinating. And so in the context of Darkest Dungeon, like I thought, okay, early younger ancestor, you know, he's limitlessly rich, strikingly handsome, can do any kind of debauchery he wants, and then what do you do when it's not enough, you know? I also saw this old movie, and I can't find the name of it. So if anybody watching this stream can figure out this movie, please let me know. I think it was from the 70s or early 80s. I think it was set in a Spanish villa, but these young people go there, and they have like, they're fully stocked, and they're isolated in this villa, and they have like all these drugs, and they kind of party, and then they all go crazy, and it's shocking.
Okay.
But it stuck with me for years, and so I felt like, okay, how do we do that? So that was the thematic start of Crimson Court, and then I thought, okay, well, vampires are kind of played out. I like Anne Rice as much as the next guy, but what really sucks blood, right? Ticks and mosquitoes. And I grew up in Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories, and the mosquitoes are like the size of the Crimson Court mosquitoes, and it just kind of clicked. So I love the idea of bugs wearing wigs.
It's great.
Yeah, that was the thing. Sorry for the long-winded.
I had no idea.
There's a whole talk me and Trudy did.
Wow.
Yeah. Party Monster. You saw
Party
it?
Monster. Yeah, a while ago. I don't remember it very well, but yes. Party Monster.
It wasn't 2018. It would not have been. It's like it's like some old niche horror movie from the 70s. I never forgot it. It's like the guy dresses up like a bird at the end, and like and he like jumps out of the window, kills. It's crazy.
It's so bizarre.
This guy like duct tapes a motorcycle helmet to his head and walks into the pool, because they all kind of come to this like we've gotten to the end of luxury.
Right.
Anyway.
All right.
Nuts. Yeah. Would the 100 peasant militia be able to defeat a gorilla? That's kind of the hot thing right now. Right?
It is. Yeah, it's a meme
Yeah.
argument, I guess.
If you leveled them up.
Sure.
Yes.
You shouldn't be fighting gorillas, though. You should leave them alone.
Leave them alone. Will we see the thing from the stars in glorious 3D? I'm sorry to disappoint. No plans. No plans for the farmstead type enemies to come into Darkest Dungeon 2. I think, maybe we had an option to do that as a Kingdoms module.
Right.
And, if we sell a bunch of wish-listed copies of the game, there's a chance we circle back. But I think it's unlikely at this point.
Yeah.
Rat Dungeon was simply the name of an upgrade to the Darkest Dungeon 1 infrastructure to bring the executable into 64-bit. And it was done by our partner studio, Flying Rat.
Yes.
It's not a Warhammer Skaven Darkest Dungeon mashup or anything like that. I've seen a few theories about that, but sadly the truth is, as always, far less interesting.
Far less. Yep. No rats. Sorry.
Yeah, there's been a couple of Arcane Arcade. We'll do like maybe one or two more.
Sure. Yep.
But there's been a few. Wouldn't it be cool ifs with regards to Dead by Daylight? But that team is doing a great job, and they're doing what they do, and their production schedule is jam packed, the same as ours. So sometimes things shake out of. Wouldn't it be cool if? Other times they don't, and that's kind of where, like, straight up, that's kind of where it's always been at. Like, we'll talk to them, and that'd be so cool, but nothing is like caught fire or has like any kind of scaffolding around it in a meaningful way. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen, just that it's not happening. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's a hero concept you wish could have made it into the game?
Anything? These ones are so tough.
I know.
I throw like we throw a lot. We kind of empty the clip. Tyler and I always talk about that. Like, we don't leave anything on the table. We don't hold back when it comes to development. Whether it's Darkest Dungeon 1, 2, Kingdoms, any DLC, we try and just every good idea, we try and jam it in and make it happen. So as a result, there's not a lot on the cutting room floor. I guess I would encourage you to go back and read X-Men during the Jim Lee era. Because I think, like, I've always taken a lot of inspiration from those sort of group superhero books. And so if there were to be more heroes, I think it would be likely, just how my brain works and just, what I read growing up, that it would be an archetype that fits into like one of those kind of super teams,
right,
in that way. And that's always been kind of the fusion for the Darkest Dungeon heroes. They're like low fantasy, but kind of a little bit like, mud and rain superheroes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, should we call it?
I think we should call it.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us for this stream. Yeah, it's been great. Maybe we'll do another one after K3. I won't promise anything. I'll say maybe. We can do it now.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we can do it.
Should give a thanks to Michaela. Maybe throw some of those stupid emojis in chat for Michaela.
Give her a stupid emoji.
Give her a dumb little tiny picture. Our ability to interface with the community over the past year and a half has grown exponentially thanks to you. Us doing these streams, the amount of content that we surface to you guys in the community is all because of her efforts and her constant work alongside with Tom, our graphic designer. So our ability to step up our engagement with you guys in an interesting or meaningful, substantial way is all thanks to you. So thanks very much.
Thank you. And thank you so much for all the stupid emojis.
Look at all of them.
There's so
many. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, the dancing tick. He's my favorite little guy. Someone in our community said, I can't remember who it was, but they said, I like the tick. He looks so polite. And I think he does look polite. And ticks are, I don't think, very polite creatures. But
they don't ask before they come in.
They do not ask. They're just like, I'm going to take what I want.
Yeah.
That tick, he looks like he asks.
Well,
yeah.
You know what? You look like you ask.
I do.
All right. Let's kill it.
Let's kill it. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And, yeah, have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.